It looks like it might be working.
Is it working? Are we here? Are we live?
We might be.
Are we dead?
Hey, it almost looks like if you look at like the side of the flag, how it lines up with one of them LED lights, like right there, like we're almost split screen, like normally when you're at your place. Colt is here, Steven is here, Adam is here. 2 minutes early. I got 8:06. Oh, it's 8:04 on my phone.
Oh, that's weird. What were you going by? Oh, the computer. How does the computer not have the right time?
Yeah, I thought
those are usually like server generated.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hello, sirs. Hello, Javier.
A little bit of turtle head showing. Oh wait, that means something different.
Turtle, my man.
Hey, we're going to see him in a couple of weeks.
We are.
Yep. Jeff could be here with us.
He could be,
but he didn't come over today.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not here.
Nope, because he's Rule 8 violation.
Rule 8.
Yep. Oh, why is this guy blue?
Because he's looking at it on my channel.
Oh.
We got a linked account.
Traitor.
From Radius Ray.
Doesn't even watch my channel anymore.
Yeah. Well, I have my own following now.
You do? Way bigger than mine.
I'm a big deal.
If you look at minutes watched of YouTube videos, not live streams, because I have a way more quantity of live streams.
Oh, yeah.
But if we just did YouTube videos, you have more minutes watched in 2023 than I do. I'll bet.
Maybe. Like I have a couple of videos that are like have a lot of like my whole channel's this year.
Yeah. So,
like
I think I put out 2 videos in 2023 and they were in January.
Yeah. Which is hilarious because like you're the one that like they were like, yeah, sure, you can come to SHOT Show as a media member. No questions asked. For me, they're like, you haven't put out enough videos yet. Like, I'm
coming with him and he doesn't even fucking make them anymore.
Man, it's been 6 months since I started a YouTube channel and I'm already monetized. Like, give me a little bit of credit here.
He ain't monetized.
Well, that's a choice though.
Well, still. Matt Wyke, hello, sir.
Matt Wyke. So, shameless plug. Sorry, Gary, because there's another podcast in town, and you all should go see the podcast that we did with Matt Wyke. It launched or it went live yesterday.
I got the notification. I have not watched it yet.
He's a good dude, and we had an awesome conversation.
He's watching on your channel too.
Oh, look at it.
He's probably over there watching his own video when the notification pops.
Yeah, do you ever watch your own videos?
No.
No.
After the editing portion, when I've watched them 100 times, I don't ever go back and watch them.
Sometimes there's been a couple of times this year I've gone back and like looked at some of my videos and be like, oh, I've gotten somewhat better over this year. And then other times I'm like, all right, I'm terrible.
Well, I'll say this. I did go back like 2 live chats ago when I was talking about the best 5, worst 5 products from SHOT. I did have to go back to my videos to see what the fuck I put in it.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember because I wanted to do any. Was there any updates? And some of the updates were no, there are no updates. I haven't seen. Like I thought this thing was cool, but I never got one. I don't know anything more.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember what the hell they were all at, especially because the top 5 was actually like 11 items. So.
Well, what I found myself doing is I haven't really done a full listen through yet on any of the podcasts I've done because it's only been 6 podcasts or so. I think we have 6 episodes so far. And but I cherish them because I can go back to them and relive the experience of being in the discussion with people. Because it's already been 2 months or so since we started it, and I'm already like, what the hell did I talk to Gary and Jay about?
I don't remember.
But at least I could go back to and be like, oh, like kind of relive the moment, which is nice. But yeah, so it's fun. Sometimes I go back and listen to some things.
Adam says the comments are turned off on my videos. Like that's why nobody watches them.
Your videos comments are turned off?
But I turned my comments on sometime last year and just people forgot. Like nobody went and checked. Oh, now Matt responded on my video.
Oh, wow. He's a turncoat.
Yep. He caved to peer pressure.
Yeah, he's like, Oh, I need to get off this bulletin account. Yeah.
Javier says the best video ever. My best video was when where Don cleans my filthy, dirty, rusted MP. But Don doesn't clean it. He just looks at it and goes, "What the fuck?" And I cleaned it with a file and a 4-inch grinder.
Yeah, which is strange coming from the guy who is known for cleaning your gun. Like,
yeah,
he's like, "Oh, I like the video of the guy who did the thing that I did."
If we'd have made a video of Javier's cleaning my gun, YouTube would have taken it down. That'd have been a strike.
Might have been a lot of cursing.
Let me go back up here. We missed a couple.
No one was talking on bulletin. Yeah, it's pretty much the case.
RJ says he can't take apart a mod button without destroying it. So RJ, check this out. I am going to talk to the fellas at Modlight in 3 weeks. More importantly, I also have Mark going to the Unity Tactical booth, who actually makes the mod buttons for Modlight, to discuss the capabilities of getting the thing that I want. Like, what are the chances? What's it look like? Can I buy one that's not put together, or whatever? See what they recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hollaby, hello, sir.
It's not Tom Hollaby. That's Thomas.
Tomas
Hollaby. Did we miss anybody as they came in?
Not
because we were bullshit. Oh, Max is here. Hello, sir.
And I think Zach Bush is here. Yes.
Zach
Bush. So what's this mean? Like when I click on this link, it says show.
I don't know.
Hide. Oh, it showed him over here.
It's like you can highlight
a comment.
His comment.
Well, how about that?
Cool.
What if I star it? What does that do?
Does it pin it to the top or something?
Pinned. It is pinned.
Nice.
All right. I'm glad Zach is willing to be a block user on YouTube. Put him on a timeout.
No more.
Add to the block list on Restream. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I don't need to do any of those.
It gets aggressive real quick.
Yeah. If I hit reply. Oh, it allows me to tag him in my reply.
Oh. You should say, "I love White Castle."
Testicles. Okay. And it replied on YouTube, not... Oh, and in the chat. Okay. All right.
We're figuring this out. We're just having fun.
And it did it twice. Well, I unpinned it right away, Adam. So, man, Koss is out there just...
Oh, good. Our favorite moderator is here.
Oh, yes. Hello, ma'am.
Because I can't do it while I'm here live.
Or when you're not paying attention.
Yeah, or when I forget that the podcast or the live stream is actually happening. Crystal's way better at it than I am anyway.
Oh, yeah, she's on top of it. Like half the time she knows what I want her to post a link to before I ask her if she can post a link to it.
It's true.
We've got Bush t-shirt. Oh, I like that.
Oh, you need one with like Zach's head, like Bush or shaved Bush.
I want a picture. Zach showed me a picture. He's in the back of a squad car with somebody else who's probably being arrested or about to be arrested. And potentially Zach is like in mid punching him, but stops to look at the camera. I want that picture, and I want it to say Bush Pounder. Not that you're someone that pounds the bush. That's my college humor. But a bush that's doing the pounding. Because normally it's the bush being pounded.
Usually.
Yeah. But,
Matt Wyke is not a fan of the White Castle.
Because he's human.
So bulletin hoodie is pretty sweet. Well, thank you, RJ.
I don't think I own a bulletin hoodie.
Do you not own one yet?
I don't think so.
Well, we may have to fix that.
Yeah, I like the spray paint. Like that's pretty. I like that design. So I have to get one of those.
I just did that. That got released 2 weeks ago or so. I think RJ's the two people have bought one. I think RJ and somebody else.
Well, when I did the new hoodie releases, I did the green one. I did in tan for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of those got sold. And I got the first picture of a dude at the range wearing it, and I'm going to add it to the website because it looks better than the printful, like dude standing.
Yeah, generic white dude number 2.
Yeah.
Now, while you don't have a bulletin hoodie yet, you are the only one. Well, actually, I can't say only one ever, because I did make another custom hat. But you have a custom, one of a kind bulletin hat. What did Max say?
45 minutes to go to White Castle. Childhood memories. What they currently produce cannot be mistaken as food. Max, it's always been that bad. Just your childhood remembers it different.
Yeah, they taste exactly the same as they did back then, and they're still awesome.
And when you said childhood memories, my mind went to trauma.
Well, when your whole childhood is trauma,
White Castle might actually be the best part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could make a stencil. You could get Shinde to make you a bulletin stencil and actually just spray paint it.
I could just spray paint hoodies instead of having them go through an online print store.
And spray paint other things too.
Yeah, it's true.
People's cars, and not yours, but other people's.
Yeah.
It would never get back to you.
I do need a is Shinde on this? Shinde, I need a bulletin
stencil.
Bulletin stencil.
I also need some more Vital, the Dwarven Vital stencils. I'm down to one.
Mm-hmm.
And the one the two that I use that have spray paint shit all over them. But somebody asked me about buying one, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I have any fucking left. And I did dig up one. He's the one that made the first batch.
Did you put onions or no onions, Max?
There is no onion option. They cook the fucking shit in.
The burgers are cooked on onions.
Yeah, it's disgusting from the beginning to the end.
The look on Crystal's face when we were in that car, and she was like, "Can I get them without onions?" And like somebody lied to her and said, "Sure."
Yeah.
It took every ounce of me to not tell her that, like,
I'm sure I was in the back seat going,
they're just cooked on the onions. You can maybe not put the onions on the burger, but the whole thing is onions.
I was already so furious that there was no point in me speaking in that trip anymore.
That smells horrible. Oh.
We have drinks at home.
On the next episode of Berm Limits, spray painting hoodies. I don't think we necessarily need to teach people how to spray paint hoodies, but we could, yeah, sure.
Oh, and Zach said he wasn't beating that guy; he was holding him down.
Sure, yeah, pressing him in
for someone else to beat him. Yeah, there it is.
Okay. Oh, on the right side it scrolls from the bottom, but on the chat it scrolls from the top.
Yeah,
gotcha. Crystal, you're still traumatized. I get it.
Yeah, me too. Like, it was the closest I've ever come to ending a friendship over food.
No.
Well, that's not probably true. It was the closest I ever got to stabbing someone. Because
that might be true. Yeah, or at least strangling them from the back seat.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Hey, you know what that is?
What's that?
That's the VX6 programmer.
Oh, that's weird.
And that is the FTM 6000 programmer.
Oh.
Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy and paste. So what are we going to talk about?
What are we going to talk about?
Well, tonight's live chat is sponsored by Bulletin.net.
Is it now?
It is, yes. So
proud sponsor, by the way.
Everyone knows that it's not very difficult to get to be a live chat sponsor, like an episode sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it means if I have something new from you, you might be a sponsor. If it came for free, you're absolutely going to be a sponsor. You did drive up here and take pictures for me today and charged me nothing.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's what you got. We are square.
I hadn't made the bill yet, but sure.
Paid in full.
Yes.
Paid
proud sponsor. Also paid for my sponsorship for the muster this summer.
Oh,
didn't it?
It did indeed.
Those professional photography services are quite expensive.
How many pictures did we take today? 540 some or something?
It's at least $2 for a photo.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's $1,000.
So, for those of you who plan on taking live fire classes this year with the TremDyn Dynamics, the carbine handout will be completed by the first dynamic carbine class in Florida in February. The last piece I needed some assistance with was photos, and we took those today. Now everything else is in my court. Like I got to crop photos, get them the size I want, put them in the handout where I want, get the handouts printed. But like it's always tough to like I can't lay it out without knowing what photo I want in it.
Because you don't have the photos yet.
Right. Yeah. And like some of them like, oh, can we show it from one angle, or do we need to show like 2 pictures to show the before and the after of the manipulation? And sometimes you don't know till you look at the photo and go, oh yeah, like everything's told in one photo. Or ones where I thought one photo would work. Oh, we're gonna have to do 2 photos.
We need 6 photos here to tell this story.
So
by the way, you're welcome, everybody. Gary tried to get me to get some of his calf in every photo, but I cropped it out most of the time.
Yes.
So there's only probably going to be a couple of gratuitous calf shots in the final handout, but I can't make any promises. Zach does love him.
He does
a good class handout.
Yeah, you will like it. It's going to be comb bound and a good 25 pages of handout for the dynamic carbine.
My definitive shotgun handout is sitting on my shelf. I found I put it in like my center console when I took Zach's class this year, and I was really bummed because I was like, oh man, I can't find it. And I finally found it. And put it on the shelf of handouts.
I was gonna say he probably could have got you another one.
He probably could have. Yeah.
He's cheap, so he might have charged you for it.
I'm like, you're gonna have to take a class again, but I'll give you one.
So we did that today. I went to the range and got a bunch of pictures for the handout. And if Andrew ever watches this, the article that I wrote that needed some photos to go with it, we got those photos as well. So that will come out in the next couple of days. TJ's in
TJ,
and he's watching from your channel too.
Hello, sir.
The other thing we did was we drove over to the new range.
Oh man,
that allows us to shoot like 24 hours a day, and then we explored some around the range.
We sure did.
Man, there are going to be some fucking awesome study groups.
Shh.
There's going to be.
Don't tell people.
Well, but I mean, to get into a study group, you need to have someone vouch for you.
Yep.
Or be an alumni, because if you're an alumni, I will vouch for you.
Right.
And the night vision study groups have if someone vouches for you, they have to vouch for you to me, and then I still get a yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down. Because the night vision, we have less space for people.
Yeah, there's a lot less margin for error.
And it's like when you're looking at the world through one little tube and there are no other lights, like that we can't flip on a set of lights to get back to everyone can see. Like I need to be absolutely sure that like everybody is squared away. So just because a guy that I vouched for is vouching for you doesn't mean you can just come to the night vision stuff. But if you come take classes, I can give you the thumbs up at class that yes, you can come to a thing. Or I might tell you you're not ready for the night vision shit. Because if you're not, I'll let you know. But not that I'm trying to upsell classes here, but the night vision shit's gonna be pretty fucking awesome.
Technically, you're not even upselling classes. You're just telling people about the study groups, which really just they're more they're kind of run at cost because it's a study group.
I don't make any shit off of it. A lot of study groups I lost money on because I would bring a bunch of targets and like I'm like, oh, it's $1 a target. We use 15 targets a day and nobody even bought me lunch. But at some point I was like, hey, if you all want to kick in a couple bucks to cover the shit of mine that we all used up today, that'd be great. And then usually I end up with a couple more dollars than I needed. So that's always worked out okay too.
Monsieur Becker.
Monsieur. So yeah, the night vision shit's gonna be pretty
Dope.
cool. The first one we're doing February 24th, day after my birthday. And
How old are you gonna be? Like
50.
Oh, is this the year?
Yep.
This is the big 5.0.
Desert Eagle .50.
Oh, does that mean you get a 50 caliber gun this year? I heard that's what happens to some people.
I've heard that too. I don't have anyone that's going to buy one for me that
Oh,
I'm aware of.
Well, you have to buy it for yourself then.
I'll buy it for myself. I don't know if there's even one I would want.
I'd say, I can't afford many, but a 50 caliber musket would be
probably the one
I probably could afford it,
that.
And then I could go flintlock hunting or something.
The one I want most would be a Madus. And I don't care who you are, and you might like 50 caliber sniper rifles, or you might like Desert Eagles, but everybody, if they had to pick the one that they wanted, would all pick a Madus. So
a Madus is two guns, right?
No,
it's just one.
It's the M2.
It's the M2.
Yep.
Oh, it's not two mounted next to each other. Oh, okay.
It's the model number. You're like M16s.
Oh, okay.
It's the M2 heavy machine gun.
Yeah, I'd like one of them.
Yep. I know somebody that has one. Not going to out them here on the Instagrams or the Insta. Well, I won't out them there either. But I was pretty fucking impressed when I walked into their gun vault and went, "Is that a?" Yep.
I would want probably. I mean, it's hard to disagree with a Madus.
Yeah, like if you're limited to something that is a 50 caliber, there's only a few choices.
Yeah, I mean, like really, the only other cool choice is the M81. What is that? The sniper rifle, the semi-automatic Barrett.
Yeah, whichever Barrett is.
Yeah.
Is there like one of them AR calibers that's like 500 Whackmaster or something?
Oh, there's the 500 or 50 Beowulf. Yeah.
So that's like a contender.
They call the 50 Beowulf along with a couple of other ones the Thumper rounds.
Oh.
It's one of those 3 AR, like
the big bore
rounds. Although 50 Beowulf is funny. So that was one of those ones that people started getting real hot on in New Jersey when I lived there, because technically a 10-round 50 Beowulf magazine is the same exact thing as a 30-round AR magazine.
Oh, yeah. So you could have it.
So you could have, theoretically, if you had a 50 Beowulf upper and a 10-round Beowulf magazine, then, if that thing just happened to empty and 35.56 rounds found its way into it.
But if the mag were in your car empty, you'd be like, it's a 10-round mag for this gun.
Well, that's what you could argue.
Well, I don't want to need a lawyer to
Yeah, that's why I left New Jersey. Fuck that place.
Oh yeah, 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, like the governor.
Yeah,
comes in that too.
Oh, the big boys.
Yep. Scott Wexler, hello, sir. He's watching on my channel.
Yeah, he is. You're winning for sure.
Yay!
No 50 Deagle, the Desert Eagle. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I would love to fuck around with the Desert Eagle. I've never shot one. I don't want to pay for one. But if someone brought one to a class, I would definitely like to have some fun with it.
I shot somebody else's. I got to admit, it's softer shooting than I expected it was.
Isn't it gas powered or gas blowback or something?
It's a delayed blowback.
Oh, okay. Because it's got a bolt like an AR-15, doesn't it?
I don't. Man, it was so long ago. I don't remember it being any different than in any other semi-auto except big and heavy.
Oh.
Guy brought a 44 Magnum Desert Eagle as well, and I shot more out of that because he had more 44 Magnum ammo, and it's shot soft too, and I was impressed.
If you were to get a Desert Eagle, what caliber would it be?
357 Magnum.
I would agree.
The ammo's cheaper, and
I think it holds more, doesn't it?
It's got to.
And smaller.
And I own a 357 Magnum.
Oh, yeah, so then it would match with something else.
Yeah, no, I only own 8 rounds of 357 Magnum for my 6-round gun. But
leave 2 for the Deagle.
Yep. I do have a box of 44 rounds of 38 special for in it.
Yeah, I was right. They have like an AR style bolt.
Oh,
it's weird.
That's a Rule 8 violation. So anyhow, but 50 years old, but we're doing a study group the day after.
Yes.
And this study group, it's going to be cold because it's fucking February, which most of the time when people have night shoots, it's in the cold months because of daylight savings.
Right. But we are not going to be limited to that.
No, if we want to shoot at 3 a.m., okay, it's fine. So as the warmer months get here, we're going to continue to do study groups over there in the dark.
And possibly some dark related classes. Potentially.
Yes, there's enough space. Like we spent more time over there today. Mike and I conferred, and like 2 relays of 6 we could squeeze into that range.
Plenty for a class, especially a dark time class.
Yeah. And especially since we don't have to do everything in like a 3-hour time frame, like a lot of night classes. Like, hey, you got to be done shooting by 10. In the winter, it gets dark enough that we can do a safety brief and do some shooting, and then it's over. Which I always felt was, I don't want to say a ripoff, but like it was less value per minute because you had less minutes, and the classes were the same cost. So I felt like I was doing a disservice to the students to offer that kind of thing. And here we can do an 8-hour class in the dark. Like you do the safety brief and shit as the daylight is fading, and just then do dark.
Yep.
And since we have open access to this a lot, we can do white light classes separate from nod classes. So we don't have to do like, hey, we'll do a little bit of white light and then we'll switch to nods, but we only have 180 minutes to do the whole thing.
Right.
So I think we could. This is going to be pretty cool.
It's probably the most exciting thing I've heard in years. Like, the thing I'm most excited about training wise, or teaching, I should say. And
it fell like fucking happenstance, like into my lap, and I was like, wait, what? Like let's hash out the deets right now, and let's next week go look at the place. And did someone invite Becker? Like, did he get the thumbs up? He's excited to do night vision stuff with us, but I don't.
Did I vouch for him?
I don't remember. I'm sure I have not seen him. Like, I can't swear he's an alumni of mine. I can go through my records on the website, but I don't remember.
Probably not any Becker names on there.
No, I don't think so. Shinde signed him up.
Yeah, Shinde +1.
Shinde signed him up.
For which one, Becker?
Wait,
is it
what?
the one this week or the one 2 weeks from now?
Tim Larson, hello, sir. So yeah, like this night vision range fell into my fucking lap. I fucking pounced on it. Like a fucking sailor at a strip club. Like, I have it. Drooling. And like I'm pretty stoked about it as well.
And it comes at a really opportune time. Like I think one, we've been looking for forever.
Yeah.
2, we're making strides with like making some good connections with trainers across the country and people that want to bring like low light classes, and hopefully this range will work for it. If not, we're looking for other things too, at least on the bulletin side of like hosting and trying to do that. But on the gear side too, fucking night vision is getting way more affordable.
Yes.
Like, and I know it's, so affordable is a relative term, but like
very, very air quote.
Very air quotey. With did you hear about this, like the Jerry 31 or the Jerry 14 stuff from Infinity?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Becker is actually the one that turned me onto it, and it raised the flag in my head, so I started paying attention to it more. Like, fuck, they're doing like single tubes for like $2,200 or something like that.
Are they gonna get shot? Did you see him on the list?
I did not, but I'm gonna double check again.
Or maybe some looks here, because there might be some people there that have info and are distributing that aren't the guys that made it.
Mm-hmm.
That we might be able to like get some hands on and like see it in person.
Because I've looked through an Infinity thermal tube before, and I'm actually really interested with their. They have this thing called the Jerry C, which is the Cody, like the clip-on thermal imager, which is again way more affordable than like whatever the standard version is of it. I think it's like $2,000 less than like an E-Cody.
Oh,
so like they're putting up. It's Chinese, or maybe is it Chinese? Probably. But,
probably.
They're putting out some And it's analog stuff. They're putting out more affordable analog stuff. When the fuck has that happened?
Yeah.
Like other than Photonis tubes that are just like, they're cheaper than the others, and they're not really like used in military housings.
No.
But like there hasn't been anything that's really kind of like upset the like analog night vision game for a while.
No, I'm interested. I want someone to get one so I can go play with it.
Yeah, I heard there's probably some differences. I think the tubes are a little bit smaller. There's a lot of it's a Gen 2 versus Gen 3, but like shit for the money, and it comes with the J-arm too and all that stuff. So I'm super excited about it because like the more of my friends that have night vision, the more capable the team becomes.
Well, I will say that's another thing. Like it is night vision is proliferated enough in our small podunk PA circles that like we're like, hey, we're gonna allow like a dozen guys into this study group, and bam, slots are gone. They're all like it's all taken. We got like 15 people coming, so like that's the other like opportune time to have a range is that it's not like it's the two of us trying to find a range that the two of us can go shoot at.
Plus, we're on the verge. I'm like based off of seeing the Opsin last year at SHOT Show, and I'd love to see what the what's the name of the company that makes that thing? The Psionics. Like, if they've made any improvements on that this year, I'm super excited to see it because that is, I mean, it wasn't 100% there. Like, performance-wise, it was really, really, really good. But, like, battery life, I think, was the Achilles heel of it. And we're just getting closer and closer. Like, that shit's going to...
I would buy one of those right now. And I'll probably end up with a Psionics camera this year, just because, and not to head mount because but to have something that you millisecond, half a millisecond fucking lag is enough to be a no-go for me. But filming what we're doing, the other option is like you buy an extra PVS 14 and an adapter to mount it to a camera.
Yeah,
and so like I've seen guys, they have the phone mount, so it'll mount the around the phone and the PVS goes on the front of it. But there aren't any phone holders for a tripod I would trust with a $3,000 PVS 14 on it. So we're at the cost of a DSLR camera because that thing screws onto a tripod. It's not going to let it go because it weighs an extra 2 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And all the shit to adapt a PVS 14 to the front, which is sitting right there on that shelf, and a PVS 14. So you're looking at like $3-4 grand of investment to be able to film what you're doing. And like, I'm not going to do that, but a $700
Psionics
camera
the camcorder
that I can screw into a tripod because it's got a 1/4-20 mount on it and just set the tripod down. Like, hey, we can get some footage. Like, I can see me having one of those.
So here's the trick with the PVS 14. I think that little screw hole will actually fit on a tripod.
Oh, it will, yeah.
So you screw the PVS 14 into the tripod, and then you hang your $1,200 camera off the back of the.
Yeah,
you're still hanging this.
Well, if you were trying to do it on a phone,
at
least then it'd be screwed in instead of a spring clamp that holds it.
Exactly. But the Psionics is cool. Actually, one of the things I might look into is with high-end DSLR cameras, sometimes you can get a mod done where it removes the IR filter off of the sensor and makes it. There's
a company that'll do your GoPros that way. Like you send them your GoPro like $150 and they'll take it apart and take that filter off. So, but the downside is your GoPro just became a whole lot less waterproof once it's been opened.
True. Yeah. Also, it's just because it's sensitive to the IR spectrum doesn't mean that it sees better at IR. It still probably needs some projected IR light.
You might only see what's being illuminated.
Yeah, basically turns into it. But the Psionics, they work. Like, I was super impressed. So they're definitely one of the companies I'm hitting up at SHOT Show.
Yeah, they're on my planner list.
Android phones see IR light. Most cameras, especially the newer phones, seem to have some level of sensitivity to the IR spectrum. It depends. Like, they may not see the whole thing. Like, if you're shining like a vampire on a wall or something, sometimes they can pick it up and sometimes they can't. It's weird.
Oh, the other thing we're doing night vision is we're doing fish 6.
Yes.
Which
a
is
whole fish of just
a whole fish with all nods.
nice.
And there we have the option that we can flip lights on. So like I'm way more comfortable letting a dude that knows fuck all about fuck all to come to that. Because if we need to flip lights on and get someone squared away, like there's a light switch.
It's also a sterile environment.
And yeah.
So we don't use live guns.
It's all Blackbeards, and the very final exercise will be UTM.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a good learning environment.
Yep, that's a great.
Whereas study groups are a bit more of the, hey, you should have learned all those things already. Hopefully come to class or go to somebody's classes, like a good, competent instructor. And then the study groups are for practice.
Yeah.
And we don't offer instruction at the study groups.
Matt White, do you want to go to SHOT Show this year? I know there's like a 30-second delay.
Oh, yeah. You should come with us, and we have the opportunity for you to come to SHOT Show.
Like right now, if you want to come to SHOT Show, you don't have to do anything about your business to get you registered or anything. You just tell me you will come, and I will have you squared away the following day, and we have somewhere you can stay. So there's that.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
If you could convince your boss to give you the time off work and then just buy yourself a plane ticket. So there you go.
RJ, they do. So IR nods will pick up 100% any broadcast IR light from those security cameras. As a matter of fact, it's really fun to go walk around your neighborhood and see exactly who has hidden cameras on their houses.
Yep.
Because any camera at night, if it's going to see anything at night, has IR on it. And they glow like freaking spotlights.
My house looks like a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
Like you can see it from 4 blocks away because I have enough cameras around it that it's just glowing under nods.
Matt, the dates are the 21st through the 26th that week.
I knew that was in the 20s, but
and you don't have to stay the whole week.
Yep. Range day is Monday. The first day of the show is Tuesday. And
the last day of the show is Friday.
Yep. I am coming in on Sunday and leaving Friday at like the crack of dark in the morning. I'm not going to be at the show on Friday later in the day because I have like a 3-4 hour, 5-hour ride home after I get land. So I did not want to do that in the middle of the night. And I'm flying out Sunday because I want to hit range day on Monday. But yeah, we had a guy back out, Matt. So I can put you in, and you could get in on your own media credentials anyway. Like you don't need.
Oh yeah, he'd be super established.
But you cannot get into range day without an invite. So you need an invite from somebody who's displaying things at range day, or you need to have been invited the prior year by someone who's displaying things at range day. Like if you keep going every year, like you can fall back on your very first invite. So if this year, if you go with me, and they have to turn in those invites by like October 1st. Mm-hmm. So you can't get an invite this late. So even if you didn't want to go through the trouble getting on your own, you could go as TremDyn Dynamics and then you're in on the range day as well. Because I got my invite and any of my guys.
Well, you may not be super known in the firearms industry, which is what SHOT Show is about, but
when you're media, they'll look at your media, like, how much content do you put out? How many people see your content? So you got the numbers that they would let you in.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It's a good time.
So yeah. By the way, anywhere over in the TremDyn Dynamics page, and I bet you on the bulletin page as well, although I don't want to speak for Mike, but I have a hunch. If there are things you guys are interested at SHOT Show that you'd like someone to get some hands-on, take some pictures, and maybe update you with what they think of it, make a post. I'm going to put a post up that says, "Hey, SHOT Show, what do you want to see?" And I'll pin it so you can more easily, put all the. It'd be easy for me to find them if you put them there. And I assume that you'll do the same. Like if somebody wants to check out the, you got to check out the Wiggly Jig from adoohickey.com. Okay, we're gonna go check it out.
Yeah, I'm hoping like at SHOT Show to get some, like my biggest goal would be to get some interviews. So it's less techy, because like Bulletin's really about people.
Yep.
I will definitely be looking at tech stuff and checking out the new gear, because we all love gear. But if I can get some discussions with people while I'm there, that's what I'm really hoping to do.
Well, if there's a piece of gear someone's interested in, it might lead that into a good person to just talk to.
Exactly. So that's my goal going out there. But gear leads to discussions. So
yep. The
he only puts out a few thousand articles per year. Yeah, no, way to humble brag there, Matt.
And he can't make it anyway.
Oh. Well, then we still have an open slot.
Yeah. Lucas from T-Rex.
We're accepting bribes, by the way.
An interesting video about the psionics. Haven't seen it. I don't really watch a lot of gun tube stuff. And made it for PVS 14, IR, GoPro, and a psionics. Oh. Well, interestingly enough, like if you look on the Bob behind me, he's wearing a PVS 14, and attached to it is a GoPro, and you can wear the PVS 14 and look through it while recording.
It's
GoPro.
It's pretty crazy awesome. Like it's a really slick setup. I'm super impressed with it. But it does mean that there's a giant GoPro attached.
There's like a fucking GoPro like right here. Bam. But like I took some test footage with it around my house. It wasn't even dark in my house, so I had to use like the daylight lens cap.
Does it reverse the video?
Yes, I had to.
You have to unreverse it.
I have to unreverse it. Yep. Before I sent you the copy of it, I was curious. That door isn't on the right. It's on the and so I just did the old flipperoo, and then I sent Mike a copy of the test footage from inside my house, and I even fucked around with all the GoPro settings to like get it the way I'd like it to look.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty impressive. Fuck, I can't remember the name. Overwatch something. Overbore is the flashlight mount that I like. Total Overwatch, maybe. Total Overwatch Productions. That's who makes the
GoPro mount.
The GoPro mount.
Yeah, it's clever because it has an angled lens in there, or not a lens, but a
glass,
just an angled piece of glass, so it can capture the images that's coming through and still go to your eye. So it's actually the same technology as a HUD, I believe, a heads-up display. But technically,
the body's all like 3D printed, so it was like $100 or whatever.
Yeah,
but like by the time you fucking, it's way less than a GoPro and a fuck ton less than everything else on that Bob's head back there. So overall, I wouldn't want to wear it all day, but it'll be cool to get some footage out of it. And what's great is like there's one screw that clamps it around the back of the PVS. If you just want to take the GoPro off, it's got a square thing that slides into it, and a Velcro strap goes around it to hold it tight. You can unvelcro, take the GoPro off right away, or loosen one screw and slide the whole thing off, and it's just back to the stock PVS. So it'd be easy to go back and forth and whatnot. And there'll be footage from that study group, and maybe shit beforehand too. I don't know. Maybe I'll walk around the neighborhood with it and get some footage.
Get some sounds of you heavy breathing.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. So the microphone, it's now like a bone conducting microphone because the mic is touching my head. So
Gary sent me a sample video, and let's just say there was some panting.
And it was literally me just
breathing.
And it sounded like I was like,
sounds like me when I do any type of activity.
And then I was like, fuck, I am loud. And I was like, well, I could mute it, but then if we're doing shooty shit, you'll not get any gunshots either. So I had to do some editing on the audio.
Do you have any things that you want to see in Vegas other than SHOT Show stuff?
No,
you're not a fan of travel.
The F1 race,
that would be cool.
We're a couple months late for that. No, there's nowhere else in Vegas I want to go see. I'm not going to Fogo de Chao.
I want to go to the Sphere. Have you seen that thing?
Yeah, we saw it last year before it was up.
Before it was working.
Yeah.
And it's going to be generally it's right next to the Venetian. So we'll see it.
Yeah, we'll see it.
But there's shows that they show on the inside of it. I'd like to go see that.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I know nobody is shocked.
Not surprised. I feel like I'm probably going to be doing some things alone in Vegas. So if anybody's out there,
yeah, U2 is in residence at the Sphere. Oh yeah, I remember reading when the F1 race came, the Sphere basically canceled U2 for like 4 days.
Oh yeah,
and so yeah, like these guys are paying way more money than we're going to make off of you. So
I am also planning this year, even if I have to go on my own, to go see. What the hell is that name of it? The section of Vegas with like the walkway with the lights and stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like up on the north side of Las Vegas?
No idea.
Oh, I forget the name of that area. It's like a famous part of the strip, like the old section of the strip.
Maybe Monsieur Becquet could tell us.
He'd probably know. And I'd like to see the fucking Bellagio fountain show.
Oh yeah.
We walked by it while it was going on, but I'm like, oh, I don't. It's cold, and I don't feel like waiting.
Yeah,
it was the cold. I'm like, I did not expect Vegas to be so cold.
It was. Well, fucking range day was frigid.
Yes.
Like I'm bringing a down jacket in case it's as cold this year as it was last year.
Yep.
And maybe because I bring the jacket, it won't be cold. I got Carmen says, "Oh, if you're prepared for cold, we won't make it cold."
Fremont Street. Yes. Thank you, sir.
I've never even heard of it, so
I'm not surprised. You don't, yeah.
I'm a big fan at this moment in my life of Columbia County, Pennsylvania. And when I have to leave it, like I don't want to go 2 counties away very often.
I know it makes you miserable to leave it, and you can't help but spread that to everyone around you.
You'll all be miserable if I have to leave it.
Yeah, I do. I want to check out Fremont Street. There's not a lot of other things, but that's just kind of like, I don't know. I'd like to see some historic Vegas places, take some photos. I did like none of that last year. It was just constant, like we're walking here, walking there, walking here, walking there. There wasn't really any time to like go check stuff out.
First time I ever went to Las Vegas, I only saw the strip from the airplane. U2 finished the residence. Fish is there now.
Ugh.
Like, I guess you can go from bad to worse, and the Sphere proved it.
That is worse. I'd rather see U2 than Fish.
Like they could, as long as we're going to do like old washed up bands, couldn't they pick Aerosmith or something?
I'd go see Aerosmith.
I'd go see them before they have the other 2.
Yeah.
Like it'd be great for a Slayer reunion show. Wait, did we see Slayer together? Did you go with us to that? Jared was there?
No.
It was when
Is that at Hershey?
Yes.
I didn't see that one.
And
it might have been that one that I said I was going to go to, and then was like, "Hey, I just realized that Hershey's 3.5 hours from me. I ain't gonna make it."
And the security guard fucking, I beeped walking through the fucking metal detector, but the guy was so focused on the Surefire and in the Gary's basket, he just was like, "Yeah, you get out of my way." Okay. I'd like step back into the metal detector to reach and get my Surefire out of the basket while the guy was focusing on Gary's.
You can't have that. That's a deadly weapon. It shoots out photons.
They go everywhere.
You can't just wave that around all willy-nilly.
You could hit somebody with that. Oh, man, we were fucking 54 minutes into this thing. Well,
Yeah.
technically like 50 minutes in. Oh, yeah, 49 and a half up there. And I didn't get to any of my notes, which is good because I didn't have any notes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So day 11 of Yule got fucked.
What happened?
That was, I was going to give out the gift certificate for people using the TremDyn alumni hashtag in their pictures of their patches and stickers.
Oh.
And Meta decided that the pictures people were sharing were too violent because there was like guns in some of them. So they made the hashtag not searchable because the hashtag was now associated with violence.
Oh my God.
Now, mind you, that's pretty cool in its own right. But I had no way to compile all the people who put the pictures out because the hashtag I asked them to use all of a sudden became not searchable. And so I was like, well, I'll use Google and use their search engine to find it in Instagram and Facebook. No, it just says nobody has used that hashtag in Google. And I was like, I can see I have posts using that hashtag. So Meta fucked us on who I was going to give it out to. And I was going to do $1 of gift certificate for every time the hashtag is used. So if the hashtag, it says, it will tell me that you can't search the hashtag because it's violent, but it's been used under 100 times. So I was like, oh, if it's been used 45 times, I'm going to give out a $45 gift certificate to one of those people. So I'm still going to give out a gift certificate. I just haven't figured out. It's going to be to an alumni because it was meant for people that put the alumni patch or sticker pictures on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I can't just be any alumni. I do know who I sent patches and stickers to, but if you didn't take a picture of it, you might still win and didn't put a picture up. So, but it's the narrowest I can get it. And I think next week's live chat, I'll have figured out who's getting the gift certificate, what I'm going to do for how much it's worth, and I'll award it. So we didn't do it on day 11 because Meta sucks.
Scott wants to go to Meow Wolf in Vegas. What is that?
It's weird. Sounds weird.
Is it a weird restaurant? Is it a strip club?
Is it a strip club and restaurant? I'll have the roast beef.
The one with extra horseradish sauce.
Extra clam sauce.
Oh.
So yeah, that was in the notes. Everything else is just notes from previous ones. I didn't need to share any links for anything. It wasn't what came up and to talk about. I had one question. We'll get to the question. It's pretty boring, so I'm still waiting to hear what Meow Wolf is. Is that like a cat dog thing?
Seems like it. I'm betting it's a strip club. We almost went to one. Well, yeah, I and somebody else almost went to one. Gary did not.
I say I don't recall any of that, so it must have been the evening I was asleep.
No,
and you guys were out doing the fun stuff.
That was the last night we were in town.
Oh, I'd already left.
Yeah. Wait, did you? Did you leave Thursday last year?
I don't know.
You left Friday. You just were so not interested in it whatsoever. Or you probably didn't pay.
And I knew I was leaving at like
early,
like 5:00 in the morning to go because my flight was at like 6:30.
Okay, I'm going to Pahrump next time in Vegas to go racing at Spring Mountain. Why is everything in Pahrump?
I don't know. And by everything, do you mean Spring Mountain and Ammo Supply Warehouse?
And all of the whorehouses.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, apparently that's where the bunny ranch is, I think.
Oh, I had no clue.
I didn't know either until last year when I looked up where Pahrump was.
Furries are definitely a Rule 8 violation.
Yes.
They are also a Rule 1 violation.
Yes, yeah. They violate all of them.
So people are like, what are those violations? Well, there's the 10 rules of CQB, and we've had a number of Rule 8 violations and one Rule 1 violation tonight. So we've discussed. Someday, if you come to fish, at the next fish class, we will have the rules like hanging up.
Yeah.
So that you can see them. Or fish workshop, or we got another fish workshop on the schedule as well. I don't remember the dates. It's on the calendar. It's on bulletin.net.
Yep. And there's one on Mother's Day. I think that's night fishing or
nod fishing.
Nod fishing.
Yeah, I had people say Mother's Day. I was like, well, between my schedule and the shoot house's schedule, it was the first weekend of December or Mother's Day. And Josh said, why not both? I'm like, well, I'll take the other one too, but I didn't think everyone wanted to wait until December.
No, yeah. That might be a little bit hard to get some attendees. But
I don't know. When I was at Tactical Response, I always taught on Mother's Day, and there was always people there, like 30, 40 people. Same with Easter Sunday. Like Easter Sunday, there'd be 60 students in class.
oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, bunch of heathens.
Yeah. Speaking from personal experience, it is way easier to ignore God than it is a wife. Just saying.
Well, why does your wife celebrate Mother's Day?
I'm supposed to celebrate it for her.
No, she's not your mom, unless you guys got some weird things.
I have to by proxy do things as dad to honor mom, like with the daughter.
That's the daughter's job. How old was he?
She's 6.
Oh yeah. Like you just be like,
she needs a chaperone to do the Mom's Day things.
Like you get up in the morning and you hand her the thing and you say, "Here's your gift certificate to take Mom to the fancy restaurant. I'll see you all tonight."
Yeah. All right, kid. I've done my best. It's your turn to figure out how to use the stove. I'm out.
All right.
Who's violating furries? Well, probably other furries.
Is it really a violation if you're willing? No. Because I think they're into everything, right?
Don't know.
I've only ever seen one furry like in real life. Well, a person in the outfit that I assumed they were going to a furry convention.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked a little ratty. So I assumed it smelled like poop. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe the furries are into scat stuff. So it seemed like if you're willing to have sex in an animal costume, you probably are okay down with the poop too.
Yeah. So I do know one furry. And I actually feel kind of bad making fun of him because he's an awesome dude. I would have nothing I can't say anything bad about him other than it's like the furry thing is weird, but like
people are allowed to be weird.
Yeah, I mean I'm fucking weird.
On the same token, people are allowed to make fun of each other too.
Yeah,
so.
and people should make fun of me for all the weird shit that I do. But yeah, it's because like there's a lot of nuance to it too, from what I understand. With like sometimes it's sexual, but some people it's not, and it's not always that. From what I hear. I've never put on a suit, I swear.
Yeah, I barely get dressed in like human clothes. I don't like.
Yeah, man, I'm
a shorts and t-shirt all the time. I don't know. Like we just commented today. I was telling Mike about when I was teaching to college. One time I wore a suit. He's like, "You didn't wear a suit to your daughter's wedding." Correct. Let alone like a costume. I'm not going to a costume.
I mean, that's one thing you could give those guys a lot of fucking respect for. Could you imagine doing any activity in like
looking like the Philly fanatic?
Suit? Yeah, like it's
a Chewbacca outfit.
It's a mascot costume, like for lack of a better term. Yep. And some of them look pretty fucking sweet, but that's besides the point. Like you're wearing a whole on like mascot outfit.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that for money. That's gotta be for fun.
Nuances of the furry lifestyle. Well, Jeff, this is what you get when I come on the live chat.
Yep. You don't know where it's
sometimes going. Gary needs to fill content and he's like, Mike, I need you.
Actually, I think what I said was, you want to stay for the live chat? Like, I'll just put you right beside me. Or you can sit opposite me and you can connect on your phone and we'll split screen it. That'd be something. Split screen, like 2 cameras back to back. Yeah. The people looking at each other. Yeah. And then split screen the live chat. All right. So we got one question. I guess we can bust that out.
What is it?
Well, hold on. What is it? So the question was I didn't copy and paste it verbatim because it came to me not on something I could copy and paste. There's a list for rifles and the list for pistols that are like on the approved recommended lists. Is there one for rifle barrels?
Really getting into the weeds.
Yeah. Well, this person was, it was weird. I had 2 people talk to me about rifle barrels in the same day. They don't even know each other. I don't think they might. I don't know. I've never seen them together at the same time. is there a list for rifle barrels? And there isn't, because I don't have a metric. Because like for the pistols and for the rifles, it's got to be a non fucked with factory gun, has to have made it through a 2-day / 1,000 round class. 10 different samples have to have done it with no failures, no issues of any kind. And then if one fails, you got to add 10 more. So like you can still have one that fucked up, and that was the aberration. But like for barrels, like I don't have a metric for that, because like how does the barrel not, like if it functions the first time, it'll probably function forever. So like if it doesn't have the right size gas port, or the chamber's cut incorrectly, it won't even work once.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff with barrels is very dependent on what you want to do with it. Do you want a super accurate gun? Do you want a super light gun? Do you want a short gun? Do you want a long gun? Do you want, something that has more weight up at the front? Do you want something that, is a little bit lighter? Do you want something that will hold up to heat better, like a bull barrel, or something made specifically for full auto?
Yeah.
Like it's so, and like each one of those criteria might have, a company that is better suited, or that makes a barrel that's better suited
for that particular thing. And then like if you run shit ammo in it, you're like, man, my groups are 18 inches big at 10 yards. Well, it might not be the barrel, because you insisted on running fucking Remington ammo. So like I can't.
Yeah.
But I can say that I've had a bunch of rifles with a bunch of different brands of barrels in them. And there are 4 that I have had experience with that I have nothing I can complain about. And those are Ballistic Advantage. Most all of the rifles that I've used Ballistic Advantage in, I've used the Hansen Profile barrel, which is their almost pencil barrel. It's mostly pencilish, but a little thicker at the ass end. But I do have like the rifle we built for Crystal. We built the upper for the fundraiser, and the guy that won it gave it to her because she needed an AR.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was a regular like SOCOM profile, maybe. I don't think it was M4. Either way, it was one of them. It was some thicker one, and I'm going to say one of the guns I built, somebody in my family doesn't have a Hansen profile, but now I can't promise that. But some other gun I built, it was a BA barrel that wasn't a Hansen profile. So specifically the Hansen profile barrels, both in carbon steel and the stainless barrels, I can't complain one iota about them. And that's 10.5 or 10.3 inch barrels and 16-inch barrels. The only 2 that I got. I also have a BA barrel on my 308. It's 18 fluted thing. Same, no issues. That's stainless. I just this year got a Roscoe barrel, 10.5, regular profile. I don't know what I would call it. It's not super light, but it's only like an ounce and a half heavier than my Hansen barrels. No issues with that. Carbon steel barrel, chrome plated. Criterion barrels, both stainless and carbon steel, no issues with. Midwest uses them in a lot of factory guns, which is how I got them. And stainless steel Noveske barrels. I've never used a carbon steel Noveske barrel, so I don't know anything about those. But both of my Noveske stainless barrels that were awesome were from back in the day when John Noveske was building the barrels. It wasn't just a name on a company. Like John called me personally to say, "Hey, your barrel is finished. What is your credit card number?"
So I've only built 3 guns, 3 guns. I don't even know what barrel's in my longer gun. I probably should. That's sad. But when I bought them as a somebody who is way more competent now, I've been going with BA barrels. Although one of them I did have a slight issue with in terms of undergassing. And
the gas port was too small.
The gas port's too small, but it was too small for. We did try it on a regular lower at one point, so it just wasn't working with anything. but I built it for an A5 lower or A5 or A5 buffer system. So I did have a hiccup with that one, but all it required was me drilling or reaming it out and
to the correct size.
And it worked. But I like the weight of their barrels. But
yeah, that was my only issue. Like RJ said, he has a few Roscoe barrels with no complaints. Is Roscoe doesn't make a light barrel, so I wish they did.
And then the only other ones, I mean, I've had a Smith & Wesson M&P 15. Like, I mean, are barrels really all that critical? I think it's like if it works the first time, it's going to work the rest. So, I think it's one of those ones where it's like find a brand that you like and just go with it. But
now the BA barrel that I like the most, they stopped making. Like during COVID when they
625 gas journal one.
Yeah, they had a hard time getting materials, so they were reducing the number of different options that they offered because they couldn't make enough barrels. And as that rectified, they started adding barrels back in. But the one I like the most, they did not. But that was after the pistol brace bullshit and the 10.5-inch barrels, 10.3, 10.5s, were not popular when people stopped building pistols. So putting a 10.3 barrel with the options I wanted back into production wasn't remotely on their priority list. And even when I got my Roscoe barrel and I was talking to Rich at Roscoe, he was like, yeah, what do you want? Like we were in class together. And I was like, the lightest fucking 10.5-inch barrel you got. And he was like, yeah, we don't really make a lightweight 10.5-inch barrel. So I have a like standard profile 10.5-inch barrel that's runs wonderful. But I said it's only like 1.5 ounces heavier, but the 1.5 ounces is at the fucking far end. So like if we could trim the gas block journal down from 0.750 to 625, like we could keep the 625 the rest of the way out.
Mm-hmm.
The Hanson's, it actually gets smaller than the 625 and then flares back out just so there's a shoulder for the muzzle brake the muzzle device to tighten up against. So I am all about like a 10.5-inch barrel. I want that thing like penciled all the way out, and I want the smallest gas block. I want the smaller of the two sizes, and like I just got to convince Roscoe to make that. If we can make a Tremis signature barrel, I'd be fine with that if they're interested. Rich, if you're listening to this, if not, I will see you in a couple weeks at SHOT, and we'll try and pitch this idea again. But yeah, that was the question. Like the barrels that I've had good luck with, I listed those off.
Who does you said Midwest uses Criterion barrels?
Yeah.
That's the only other one I've had because I got a Midwest upper on Jamie's gun.
Yeah,
and that one's great.
The when I was talking to Rich at Roscoe, he said that like price point wise, like if you look at like tiers of like what barrels cost, those old Noveski barrels that John hand built, those like you would compare those to the Criterion, like those were the same cost. And the BA barrels you would compare to Roscoe, but like you wouldn't be as quick to compare a Roscoe to a Criterion because on what you're paying for it, it's apples and oranges. Although for my ability to shoot, all of those barrels
they're all the same.
Yeah. And most of the time I'm just running like Fiocchi 223A, which is fine ammo, like no reliability issues, but it isn't known for being the like fucking match grade. Now when I zero a rifle, like I'll zero with Fiocchi or like some Federal or whatever, and then and get everything like down to okay, and then I put Defiant in it to fine tune my zero because I know then the ammo is taken out of the equation. But I can't zero from the get go with Defiant because it's expensive.
Well, actually, so I found something very interesting the other day. So I was I got that new EOTech. Made a trade for it. Love it. I've missed using an EOTech. And went to go zero it, and started with the 55 grain, like, God, I don't even know what brand it was, just my steel case that I've been using for training. I'm like, let me get it on paper,
Yeah.
and walked it in, was pretty close to dead on, switched to Defiant, did a precise zero on it, got that exactly where I wanted it to be. Then just for shits and giggles, I was like, all right, well, let me put a clean target up and see what the point of impact shift is for the 55 grain steel case stuff that I was shooting. Dead on nuts. I was like, really? When does that ever happen? Usually there's at least like an inch or two, or an inch at 50 yards would be a 2 MOA.
Yeah.
So like I've usually seen about a 2 MOA shift of like shit ammo versus defined ammo.
Yeah.
But
and usually that's velocity related.
Yeah, usually it's a bit lower. But I guess this Wolf stuff or Tula ammo I was shooting was hotter than normal because it was like, oh, that's strange. The first time I ever seen that happen, but other times it's off a bunch.
Well, I've noticed like shooting a Fiocchi, like, man, like I'm at 50 yards and this is like this group's like an inch and a quarter, inch and a half, and like I can't like apparently I'm shaky.
Yeah.
And then I switched to Defiant. I'm like, oh, well now the holes are touching each other.
Yeah, ragged hole.
I'm like, okay, so that's just what the ammo can give me out of this.
Yeah, and so I don't always like I always assume it's me first. Yeah. Always. And then
especially when you have a non-magnified optic.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I can't aim at a 1/4 inch target.
Right.
Because I can't see it. In fact, on Yule training day, we zeroed a rifle, and I was using the Defiant zeroing targets, which are it's white and has the red 1 inch squares that make a big X.
Yeah.
If they weren't there and I only had the 2 inch square in the middle, I wouldn't have been able to shoot that day because I would not have seen an aiming point. I needed to find the center of the X and aim for that.
I've been in my older age, I've been using the more like those shoot and see stick-on targets for zeroing.
Yeah,
because they're very high contrast, and not the little circular ones, but the big circle ones are probably about 2 feet, 1.5 feet wide. Those are perfect for me at like the 50 and 100 yard because like I can put that big ring around the ring and it's almost the same size, and then the dot in the center is pretty much so like I'm using the shape around it way more than I'm using the actual precise dot. But hey, I'll get there however I need to get there.
Someday when we finally finish the Tremis Dynamic zeroing target, which is pretty close to being done. It has been, like, it just got shelved. The idea got forgotten about for a while.
Did I tell you I made a revision to it?
No.
I used it
since the last time we talked?
Yeah, I turned it into a red or a IR
Oh,
target.
yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, I used that template and then kept going with it. But, I still have the original, like...
and the only thing we needed to do was, like, on the black lines, overlay a white grid.
Oh, yeah. Is that what we had to do?
That was the only thing left.
Okay.
Because like we did the big black lines with the idea that if you lose your aiming point, you can still just find the center of the big black lines coming into the aiming point. But someday, like, I'll just put those out for free on the website, and you'll be able to click download now and have them. And then somebody makes some print zeroing targets, IR targets for your laser that it asks you what laser you have, and then it just did the math and said, oh, well, that laser is this far offset, and so it's got an aiming point and an impact point, aiming point for the laser, impact point for the bullet. And
that's what I did for my PEC 15.
So we're looking at it, and like you can just click download, and I was like, just kind of glanced at the phone and went, are those backwards? That's what I was thinking, because everyone that had a laser off the right side of the gun showed the aiming point on the left side of the point of impact on the target. So I was like, well, that would be like it was meant to be used at like 25 yards. I was like, well, 25 yards, you'd have to crank that thing so they were crossing at the 12-yard line in order for them to be that far over at the... I was like, are you sure the image isn't mirrored? I don't know. But it was on a phone, not near a printer where we could print one out and see what the actual file looked like. It was like a thumbnail of it. And I was just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Because sometimes they're weird in the sense that like the center, the big thing that you're focusing on is either the point of impact or sometimes it's the part where you want the laser to go.
Yeah.
And it can get confusing. You gotta know which target you're using because there is an offset usually for all those red dot things, and
And I was like, I don't have to worry about that. I have 2 guns with lasers on, and both of them the laser is centered over the muzzle. Like there's no left to right offset.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just sticking with that. And the one that the only product I'm dying to go see at SHOT Show also is a center mounted
the
laser.
ACAL.
Yeah.
From Z-Bolt.
Z-Bolt. If it was French, they would just add an E after the Z. So
Z-Bolt.
Z-Bolt. All right.
Hey, Willie's here.
Willie.
Hey, Willie.
Hello, sir. We were talking about you today.
And your strong hands.
Yes. Strong, manly hands. But at any rate, that covers everything we needed to cover for to talk about. We've actually got a couple extra minutes. It's 9:19.
Parallel versus converging zero. Well, it's I used to have a strong opinion on this, and then nowadays it's they're either one.
I have a strong opinion. All lasers should be centered over the bore.
Well,
unless you have an AK.
So, RJ, based off of what I saw over the last few months of trying to explore a bit into this, like zeroing IR stuff. So I did some math and like figured out the exact offset of my visible laser and my IR laser compared to my bore. Created a target specifically for that sizing. I know this is getting a little bit too deep in the weeds, but I guess I had time one day. And went to the range and zeroed it. And that was at 25 yards. It was a 25-yard target. That's what, and after doing some math of ballistic calculations, which I also conferred with Gary on, to say, hey, look at this. If you like because based off of the height over bore of the laser, your aiming point will have different performance over distance than your red dot laser or your red dot plane. So you have to look at both those things, and they don't necessarily have to be zeroed at the same distance for you to get similar performance. So I looked at the chart based off of 55 grain at a certain velocity. It was 25 yards will get me roughly the same performance as what my optic height would get me. So I did all this thinking and math and like, all right, I think I got this, and agonizing because it's what I do, and really diving into it, and then went and shot it, and it was like, okay, yeah, that works. I was making hits at 100. It was doing as expected, and then I compared it to a converging zero, and it was converging. So, like basically, I just pointed out as far as I could, turn the laser on high. I have that luxury because I have a laser that goes really high. And at infinity, they were touching. So I could have saved myself all of that effort for my gun and my laser and my my optic by just doing a converging zero. So I'm pretty sold on the converging zero.
The interesting thing about those targets we were looking at on the phone, it had 3 spots for most of the lasers: your aiming point, your visible laser, and your IR laser.
Yeah, because they're different.
They're different. And like one of the caveats were, if it were a Steiner laser, only one of those 2 lasers will actually match the target, because like in 90% of Steiner brand lasers, when you adjust the laser to go like an inch to the left, one of them will actually go an inch and the other one will go an inch and a half.
Well, Steiner is I learned my lesson with Steiner. I'm not a huge fan. Especially if they're ports.
Basically, it was you can take the visible laser and like put a drill bit on the end of it and hit it with a hammer and bust it out, because if you're using that to zero your IR laser, it'll never ever line up.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna have to pick which laser you want zeroed. And I was like, oh. At that point, they should almost offer dual zeroing screws.
Mm-hmm.
But the point of having the visible laser,
so you don't, it's on the same block as the IR. And
yeah.
So
I'd like to mention that the ACAL has found an ingenious way that works similar to that fucking.
Yeah, it's through a mirrored lens type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like there's a lens inside the ACAL, the IR lasers coming this way and the visible lasers going this way, and they meet on that lens. So when you change the screw, it moves the lens so that those two things always equal the same spot.
Yeah, I think there's other lasers that do that too. But
oh yeah, I most of the ones I see pictures of, like you can see the two.
Yeah. So
I don't shop around for a bunch of other lasers.
There was a few things I learned in my.
I don't own a visible laser.
Yeah, I do. And one of the things that I learned that day when I went to go zero it was, well, there's two things I learned. One, it's really fucking hard to see a red dot during bright daylight, and I couldn't do it. It was absolutely impossible. So I was like, oh well, it's not. You can't use it at day. You have to go to the darker times of the day. And then the second thing that I learned was that my club sucks, and they threw me out of there for following the rules, which the rule said you could shoot until dusk. And one of the guys ran up to me and, probably wearing a Elmer Fudd hat, some flannel, and a big shotgun, and because it's a big Fudd club. And he was like, "You can't shoot here, blah blah blah. This is you're way past the shooting time. You're being unsafe." And all that. I'm like, the rules say I can shoot until dusk. Dusk is 25 minutes from now. And he was like, "No, the sun has gone down over the hill, and it is time for you to stop shooting. You must leave." So it's stupid. So that was the only time I could actually see the laser was I went back later in the day, and after the sun had gone down, in between that time between sundown and dusk, that is a scientific thing. I'm a little salty on this. You can see it, but at that point, you could probably also just put on your nods and see your IR laser too. So yeah. It's stupid.
Oh, I do have a visible laser, that Purse 3.
Oh, yeah.
Which is sitting in a bag somewhere. I don't have it on anything. Because I tried to put it on my AK, like where it should go.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got a vampire on my AK for an illuminator, so the Purse 3 would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Except the only rail on my AK is on the rail gas tube, and then the Purse blocks the iron sights.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the laser's offset, which offset lasers are for AKs, on AKs only. The box was so high you can't see the irons.
I will say, so in like the night shoot that I was doing, I do find that there can be a use for a visible laser, but it's not for aiming. It's for communicating. Like if you need to communicate with somebody who's in your team that doesn't have nods on, it is invaluable at night to be able to go, "Hey, do you see that thing over there? Well, I can't see what you're seeing. I don't have nods on." "Oh, okay." You flick that thing off, and all of a sudden you have a red dot. Go, that thing over there. That's about it. Like that could be useful, but it's totally not for, oh, let me aim with this thing and shoot with it. It's stupid. One other thing, just to clarify before what RJ asked. There's differing schools of thought for converging versus parallel zero, and there's this newer kind of thought of infinity zero. That's the one that I would recommend in terms of it requires you finding something that's really, really far away. That's the downside of it, but it's really easy with being able to just line your dot up with your reticle in your
yeah, the idea that they will converge much further away than you'll ever be able to PID.
Yes. Yeah, it's not saying, hey, I want to converge at 30 yards or converge at 100 yards even. It's saying I want to converge those two things at 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Or 2,000 yards, whatever the farthest I can possibly see where my laser goes at night. Because I'm not a fan of converging zero at anything less than the farthest that my gun can touch, which is 300 yards.
Yeah. As long as the convergence is past that, you'll never have to worry about your point of aim, point of impact going from the right side to the left side.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's the big concern is what happens when I get past the point of convergence? And if you picked a range, any range, you picked 75 yards. I'm just going to pick that because it's a number. Great. And I say, hey, is that target 75 yards away or 90 yards away? 99 out of 100 people will get that answer wrong.
Yeah.
Because they just don't fucking know what distance looks like, and it gets harder in the dark. 97% of folks put vis lasers on guns as an aiming system. I can't tell you the last time I saw a person at class that had a visible laser on their gun that wasn't tied to an IR laser.
I've seen them a lot on pistols, like a competition. Like I saw last time I saw one was at that SIG competition, and some dude was shooting with a visible laser on a pistol, and I'm like, that seems silly.
Well, I'm at about 7,000 students, and I've never seen a visible laser on a pistol at class. Now, I've seen just people at a range using them, and I'm like, oh yeah, well that guy doesn't know anything, and he's not on my team.
Right. Well, if they show up and they have that, that's an immediate Rule 8 violation.
Yeah, total Rule 8 violation.
100% Rule 8 violation.
And the only way it could not be a Rule 1 violation is if it looked like it was an IR laser.
Yeah. I know, RJ. I've been there, man. Jersey is full of.
Well, there's the thing. That's the other thing, like about like location. So while I'm not in New Jersey, I'm in Pennsylvania, already a step up. Like where I'm at in Pennsylvania, like we went to my range today. Like, and it's private in that you have to have a membership, but it's public in that anyone can buy a membership.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there for hours and saw 2 people.
Yeah.
We waved at them as we drove by to the pit we were going to use.
Yeah, and there was no actual sunlight today. It was diffused through clouds.
Yeah.
And you didn't have somebody yelling at you saying that it's unsafe.
No.
That
our only communication was they waved back.
Right. Yeah. I wish I had a club like that near me.
So like there's it's not just come to New Jersey. Like I have picked a spot where I will go to my range. There are 7 bays and a really like a 50 table wide 300-yard range and a small little private like 15-yard range right behind the clubhouse. And most all of the time I don't see a fucking soul there.
Mm-hmm. That's because you live in an area where there's not a lot of souls.
Yes.
Which is
thank God.
Although
there's
your immediate location there are.
Yeah, I have neighbors right there, but but yeah, there's something to be said about picking your spot.
Yeah.
And like other people are like, well, I wouldn't pick your spot for a host of other reasons. That's great. But what I was looking for, my spot works pretty fucking well for me.
Mm-hmm. How do we go from 54 minutes to an hour and 28 minutes? So quickly?
Well, you got talking about zeros and convergence,
my bad,
divergence, and like timelines. And if you go forward in time, like that's probably doable according to the physics of time travel. Mm-hmm. But going back in time presents some other issues. Did we talk about that? I might have saw that on a video earlier to this
What are your
week.
thoughts on slavery?
He did send me a listing for some property up near the New York border.
Oh, too far.
And
sorry, it's.
I looked at it. I looked at the map. That's the first thing I went to was, oh, there's a map button, because the question is always if this is your plot of land, where is the closest house not inside that plot of land? That will determine your range.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're like, I have X hundred of acres. How about the range that I use now has 4,000 acres, and we can't shoot in the dark because where the range is located, 100 yards away is a cluster of houses. So it doesn't matter how much property you have if you can't get the shooting away from your neighbors.
Well, that's not true. Because, I mean, it's a multitude of things. And I would say 2 very important things. One, the willpower of the owner, because that can have a huge factor in there in terms of, well, I may not be legally required to not shoot. I'm just ethically bound by wanting to make my neighbors happy.
Well, there's that.
because there may be people out there who's like, well, I don't care about making my neighbors happy, and I'm not legally obligated
currently today.
Yeah,
but you will be shortly.
Well, but then you have some places like the club that I went to a few weeks ago for that night thing, where it's like their grandfather did, and they don't have
until we get that time travel thing.
Yeah, true.
Because if that property ever changes hands, that grandfathering goes away.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So those owners are grandfathered.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's stipulations to everything, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have something that's in the middle of nowhere for it to work, because
it's just
there's sometimes you can get away with it in other ways.
It's just that it's the people outside the property that are going to make that determination.
And what protections you have against them.
Yeah, because even if you live in somewhere that's unincorporated, which is hard to find in the East Coast, where there's no governance to have a statute saying you can't.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing preventing it is the fact that nobody has made a statute, because they will, like, that can still happen, and there's no requirement to grandfather in anything.
Mm-hmm.
So just because, like, well, I've always been shooting over here at 2 a.m. Okay, well, the township has made an ordinance that you can't shoot past 7. And like, oh yeah, but since I've already been doing it, like, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get it.
Now, if you had a bunch of property and you're cool with the neighbors,
well, that's the best option.
Yeah,
is to try and
you're like, hey, you guys need a range to shoot at?
Yeah, at night
you can shoot in the dark
too. Can we create a little compound and like a little village of awesome people? That would be the dream.
That's the ticket.
RJ says it's 1.5 hours from Bloomsburg. Yeah, it's too far. I won't ever go. It's like going to fucking Towanda. Like,
it's past Towanda.
Yeah,
it's more north than Towanda.
No fucking way.
Well, especially now that, like, if you get to here, I'm 16 miles away from a range we can shoot 24 hours.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, it's like, here's the thing. Like, yeah, it's 1.5 hours, which might be drivable for Gary, but Gary lives like an hour and a half away from everyone else in the world. So, like,
that's 3 hours away from Mike.
Yeah, 3.5 hours away from anybody on the eastern side of the state.
But when Mike says, I wish I had a range like that, I have a range.
Yeah.
I have that range.
Yeah, we got one here. Hopefully.
And a cooler range now than the range that my club is part of.
Yep.
So anyway, well, I will go shoot at RJ's place as soon as he buys it.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you get it, I'll still come up there.
Well, especially because then you're like, RJ, we're crashing at your house.
Yeah, if you're letting us crash, I'll go wherever. Hell, I went out to Ben Franklin Range.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a drive.
What a drive! I did it twice in a month. One more time.
Yeah, I mean, they're good people.
Yeah,
it's a great.
But now facility. I can shoot in the dark without going that far away.
Yep.
All right,
let's get out of here, man.
Like, yeah, I'm tired. It's 9:30. It's way past my bedtime.
I'm drive home.
All right, guys. So that's what we got for this week. What's the calendar say? Like, there's a couple weeks till shot, right? It's a couple Wednesdays. Yeah. So there'll be a live chat next week, the 10th and the 17th. There will not be one on the 24th.
Why not? We're not going to do a live chat from
shot.
Shot Show.
It really depends on, like, internet connectivity.
Yeah, I doubt it.
And then, like, I don't even want to, even if we do it on a phone, I don't want to bring something that holds a phone on a tripod and a phone holder.
Yeah.
So that we can sit it somewhere and sit in front of it. Like, I don't want to
bring in a computer, so you can just use the webcam on the computer.
I guess.
Anyway, we'll figure it out. Maybe there's a live chat that week.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find someone really cool to do it with.
Yeah, that would be key.
Yeah. All right. Well, and Matt's not coming, so it ain't gonna be him.
Nope.
All right, guys. So you all take it easy out there, and at least one of us will see you next week.
Later.